Welcome to Ghired, Conclave Exile. As far as opening hand goes, yes, I'd like it. We're going to keep on this one. We've got a turn 1 Cultivate, which sounds like a pretty good deal. We've got Teferi's Protection, we have Rampaging Balos, and we have Maltafeed, which is, I don't know, I really enjoy that card. It's kind of like a little bit of an all-star for me. So let's go for Marsh Flats. Let's go and crack Marsh Flats. And yeah, I think we just want to end up going for Cultivate before our opponent even has a chance to try to counter this Cultivate. So let's get this popped out. Let's go and grab ourselves a Sevinne. Or do we want to grab? Yeah, no, we have to grab a green-white source. So let's grab Sevinne. Let's go for Mana Crypt. And we actually just played against our opponent, but I got stuck on 2 lands all the way to like turn 5. So fortunately, I went ahead and scooped it up because they're going to be able to get it with guys. So technically, our opponent's ahead 1-0 in the matchup. So let's get this popped out. Let's go ahead and grab probably another green source. This will be a double green. Yeah, we'll grab Forest and then we'll grab Mountain. That'll be a good little split. Let's put Mountain onto the battlefield. Forest goes into our hand, and then we'll go and pass turn to our opponent. So turn 2, we're looking at going for Ghired potentially and getting some rhinos going. That sounds like a pretty good way to kind of attack guys of St. Trafford. Yes, welcome to Ghired. Let's go and cover Ghired. So we're playing Ghired, Conclave Exile. Whenever Ghired enters the battlefield, create a full 4 green rhino creature token with trample. Then whenever Ghired attacks, populate. That token enters the battlefield tapped and attacking. Playing against guys to St. Trafford, which they didn't get off to as good of a start as we did. So we'll take that. Let's go and choose tails on this Mana Crypt trigger. Yeah, this just shows you how busted Mana Crypt is, and it's a great feeling. One the flip, we were 1 for 1 on those Mana Crypt triggers. And let's go Forest. And yeah, I think we end up going Ghired. Yeah, I think that would be good. Now, what we can do is we actually go Hippo. I like doing this. So let's go Hippo. This is going to be 1-2. We can dig a little bit deeper with Faithless Looting, because we get that 3-3 on the battlefield, and then once we have Ghired, we swing in next turn, then we're going to be able to go for Feed out of the graveyard. Yeah, that's going to be pretty good. Since we do have some pretty good ramp, I like Wrath of God, I like Rampaging Balos. Let's go and get rid of Talisman of Unity, and yeah, we'll get rid of 3 visits. Yeah, because both of these are going to be some pretty good threats. So we'll dump both of those into the graveyard, and then anything else pass turn to our opponent. So playing against Geist, whenever it attacks, create a 4/4 white angel creature token that's flying, that's tapped and attacking. Then exile that creature at the end of combat. So we did cover both commanders. Give a quick shout out to our sponsors, MTGOTraders. If you want to build your very own Rhino deck or Hippo deck, or really if you want to build a Naya Zoo, where people can come and you can show off your hippos and your rhinos, head on over there. They've got a lot of animals that you can choose from to kind of help your Naya Zoo out, whatever sort of deck you're going to build. And also, let's give a quick shout out to inkgaming.com. Use coupon code JOLT for 10% off anything off the website, or just type in JOLT539 to see my merch booth. So let's go and choose tails on this one. And one the flip. We are 2 for 2 on those Mana Crypt triggers, which I will definitely take. And yeah, I like going for that line of play that I mentioned. So let's have Misty come down. Let's go for Ghired. It's going to be 1-2, tap down for Naya colors. And we're going to hold on to this Misty, because if we end up hitting the land drop, that's going to be a way that we can get an extra token. And it's going to always yield to this Soul Warden trigger. There we go. That's going to give us an extra 4/4 green rhino on the battlefield. Oh, look at that. That is beautiful. And then anything else past the turn. So we will be able to swing in with our Hippo. Let's get some Hippo damage going. Swinging for 3, that's going to put them down to 29. And then we'll pass the turn. But yeah, the play that I was talking about with the Maltafeed is that what we can do is basically with us going for mouth, like we could have slammed down Ghired and been really aggressive, but if our opponent's got a board wipe, if they got something and they clear the board out pretty quick, that's not going to be good for us. And so with us going for mouth, we get that 3/3 Hippo on the battlefield. We get Ghired down, that's a rhino, then we swing in, so we get another rhino down. So that's going to allow us to basically just cash in like 3 or 4 card draw, which is going to be or 3 card draw, which is going to be a very nice feeling with Maltafeed. So that's kind of a way that we can kind of transition ourselves into the late game, hopefully outvaluing our opponent. So that was kind of the intention with that line of play. So, but I like it, pretty cool. Now, if we do hit the land drop, we might be tempted to go for Rampaging Balos, because that's going to be a lot more card draw. So we'll see. So let's go and choose tails on this one. One the flip. We are 3 for 3 on those Mana Crypt triggers. We have been living the good life. for some reason. The magic gods are looking out for us. Let's go ahead and push in. Yeah, I think I like this. Let's go ahead and push in with the crew. We're going to swing in Ghired. We're going to swing in Hippo and Rhino. That does leave them open to swing in on the back end with guys, but at this point, we're going to be able to attack our opponent's life total a lot quicker than our opponent can attack ours. So let's go ahead and swing in with Ghired. That's going to be a Rhino, Hippo, and Ghired coming across. We could make a copy of Hippo, but Rhino is going to be in our best interest. So, and that trample does make a difference. So we're going to be swinging in. Look at that. That's going to be 8, 11, and that's going to be 13 coming across. So that's going to knock some damage down, put them down to 18. Yeah, I think we just go for this Maltafi because it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and that still gives us Heroic Intervention, which is, oh, look at that sequencing. It's going to be 1, 2. Let's go Mana Crypt. Yeah, that's perfect. That's exactly what we want to see. We can go for Soul Ring. In fact, yeah, let's go and go for that. We're going to crack. Let's go Soul Ring. Have some, yeah, we're just getting into a really good chunk of mana right now. And just in case we run into a Stifle or something, let's go Misty. Let's grab ourselves a Tiger Uppercut, and that'll leave us open for Teferi's Protection, or Heroic Intervention. So there we go. All right, so we're going to go and pass turn over to our opponent. You know, we haven't won the game yet, but we've generated a ton of value. You know, having that Mana Crypt off to a very early start has definitely helped us out. But thankfully, we've actually drawn into some really good stuff. We have Doubling Season. We can get that down. That's going to really help out with the Populate with your red. If our opponent does have some sort of board wipe, we have Heroic Intervention. Then after that, if they have some sort of answer, we have Teferi's Protection. When you're building a Ghired deck, you know, if you have a lot of tokens, or if you're building any sort of token deck, one of the best things that you can do is run something like Teferi's Protection or Heroic Intervention, because you're investing a lot into your board state, and you want to be able to protect that board state very, very cheaply. It's very important that you do that. So let's see if Geist, we got Soul Warden swinging in, and we'll see if Geist is going to get into the red zone. More than likely, we'll probably see Geist come across because we're going to be able to deal some pretty good damage next turn. That's going to be 4, 8. That's going to be 11. That's going to be another 13. That's going to be 17. Yeah, we're almost going to be able to one-shot this one. So, all right, they're going to get the Angel down on the battlefield. That puts them back up to 19. Yeah. Oh, and also I forgot, you know, we might not be able to one-shot them simply because of the life gain from Soul Warden. That'll be a little bit hard for us to kind of factor in. Or at least not factor in, but at least kind of one-shot them, I should say. All right, let's see what we draw into for the turn. This is going to be, let's go and choose Tails on this Mana Crypt trigger, see if we can't go 4 for 4. Oh, we lost a flip. Okay, there we go. 3 for 4, and then we run into Path to Exile. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, what we can do is if we end up going Doubling Season, if we go Rampaging Balos, 1, 2, 3, 4, we don't have a land drop to make for the turn. Yeah, I guess we just end up going Doubling Season. That'll be pretty good, because that keeps us open on Heroic Intervention and Path to Exile. We get an extra token on the battlefield. Yeah, this will be pretty good. So we get down Doubling Season, and this is pretty much what this deck wants to do. We have curved out perfectly, and once you get down Doubling Season, you just start swinging in. You just get those Rhinos going. It is such a good feeling. All right, so let's go and swing it with your red. We're going to make a copy of the Rhino token, which is going to be just awesome. You got a whole little herd of Rhinos coming across, and especially 2 more. Oh, 2 more with Doubling Season. Oh, that is just wonderful. Always yield to that. And I realized the token entering the battlefield also came intact and attacking. So 4, 8, 12, 16, 19. There we go. Put them all the way down to 0. So that actually worked out perfectly. So shout out to our opponent for sticking this game out. You know, we got off to a Mana Crypt and a Cultivate, and, you know, typically when you get ahead on that mana that quickly, and especially in a ramp deck, it's pretty much kind of game over. So very, very much thank you to our opponent for playing this one out. That way we got to see what Ghired is capable of doing. So, you know, this is not going to happen every single time. Normally when you're playing against guys, they have a ton of answers. If they don't have that fast mana start, then it's hard to keep up with another fast mana start. But we got to see a lot of Rhinos and some Hippos and Maltafi. That's always pretty cool. So anyways, if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye. Welcome to Urza. As far as our opening hand goes, we have Island, Reliquary Tower. Yeah, we can keep. Dude, we just got 2 lands on this one. We do have Plague Mirror. Yeah, let's keep on this one. Hopefully we get lucky. I saw Tezzeret, and if we get the artifact count going pretty quick and get that card draw, I really like that. So then hopefully we can find something like Mana Crypt, and oh, look at our opponent. Off to a beautiful, beautiful start. This is going to be a Forest and a Grim Monolith, and We're going to have Maelstrom Wanderer coming down in any second now. So, running the Steel Overseer. Let's go ahead and go for Island. Let's go Relic of Progenitus, and then anything else. We're going to pass the turn over to our opponent. So, we were playing Urza, Lord High Artificer. Whenever Urza enters the battlefield, create a 0 colorless, 0/0 colorless artifact creature token. A construct artifact creature token. This creature gets +1/+1 for each artifact you control. Then tap an untapped artifact you control, add blue mana. Then for a 5 mana activation, shuffle your library, exile the top card. Until end of turn, you may play that card without paying its mana cost. Playing its Maelstrom. Oh, and we've got a turn 2 primetime. All right, so I'm going to transition this into primetime is not banned in 1v1 Commander. I'm playing Commander Online. I'm playing 1v1 Commander, which is its own Magic Online format. You think that if Primetime's banned in regular Commander, it should be banned in 1v1. You may be thinking that like, hey, Primetime should be banned in 1v1 if it's banned in multiplayer. I agree, but hey, here we are. I don't know. We're going to try to outrace this, but this is not looking good. If you keep it scored at home, this is not looking good at all. So let's go for Plague Mirror. But we are no quitters, so let's have Plague Mirror into the battlefield, and then we'll pass the turn. So we've got Primetime being able to swing across and deal some pretty good damage and get some land drops. And but, you know, we can get some good mana going with Urza. But yeah, the 5 mana activation, shuffle the top card of your library. Playing gets Maelstrom Wanderer, the man who rides on a horse with no name. Creatures you control have haste and Cascade. So we'll see. This will be on our undoing, but that was... yeah, we got a turn 3 Maelstrom Wanderer coming down. This is what Magic's all about. So there we go. It's always fun to have these busted games like that. So they're gonna be able to swing in 13 and 15. That's gonna get rid of half of our life total. They're gonna get 2 more lands on the battlefield. They can even grab a Field of the Dead if they've got it in there. That'll actually work out really well to get some more zombies going. We do have Reliquary Tower, so we are looking at Urza next turn. That does give us an opportunity to go for that, but I don't think we're gonna be able to really stop this onslaught. We could block Plague Mirror on Maelstrom Wonder, but we need that mana to go for Urza. And then next turn, well, we might. We'll see. So we go Reliquary Tower. We go Urza. Yeah, we're sticking this one out. It's not the best, but at least we can dump in a Sky Diamond. Yeah, I kind of like that. So we tap down... Well, actually, if we tap down the Construct token, that's not going to be good because... that's going to be a 3/3. We can block on Maelstrom Wanderer, and they still get in for 6 and 8. Yeah, because if we actually end up tapping that down Construct, that wouldn't be that good. So, as much as I would like to go for that, we would actually go for Steel Overseer if we wanted to. Yeah, if we're going to do that, we might as well. So let's go and tap another artifact. Let's tap down Relic. We're going to tap down Construct Token, and we'll go for Steel Overseer. That way, we're just going to be able to get another block and basically just kind of keep this Construct Token on the battlefield. I'd really like to get down Sky Diamond, but we'll lose the game if we do that. I guess technically we could have gone Sky Diamond and block Urza on Eternal Witness. That might have been the better line of play to go for, but I still like having Urza and Steel Overseer up just in case things... get a little funny business. That's not exactly what we want to happen. So we might be able to bounce back from this. Who knows? If we get down Tezzeret, we get some extra artifact. You know, having the ability to just tap down an untapped artifact to add blue mana to your mana pool is just absolutely busted. The fact that we can keep up with like a turn 2 primetime in our best, hopefully keep up with it. It's a pretty good feeling. So the only downside now that they've got these Avengers Zendikar tokens coming, yeah, this is... pretty rough. So, but yeah, I don't agree with Primetime being unbanned in 1v1 Commander. Not really sure why, but 1v1 Commander, they haven't been super active in maintaining the ban list. So if you want to play Primetime, hey, come on, sign up. 1v1 Commander is the exact same as Commander, except there's just these random cards that are just not legal for some reason, which is kind of funny. So, opponent, I'm trying to figure out what they ended up going for. They're just going to recast the Maelstrom Wonder, Everflowing Chalice. Yeah, then once they swing in with Primetime and get those double land drops, that's going to be more than enough with the plant token. So, and now they're down to 0 cards in turn 4, and then look at this board state. But hey, you know, I'm sure there's some Maelstrom Wanderer person out there that is just salivating at the thought of being able to run Primetime in their Maelstrom deck. So, all right, we're going to go and let them swing in, but they're going to get in on the Avenger triggers with those tokens swinging in. All right, opponent's gonna get it on this one. Yeah, it's kind of it's always hard to beat a mana crypt on turn one, but then it's especially hard to beat a prime time on turn two. That's always a little rough. But if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye. Welcome to Sevinne, the Chronoclasm. As far as our opening hand goes, yes, we're gonna keep on this one. I love it. We've got 4 lands in the hand. We've got some wonderful options. We have Deep Analysis, Mystical Tutor, Faithless Looting, and come back. So there we go. And we're also playing Sevinne. So hopefully we can find ourselves a token enabler, and we'll have some fun today. And we're playing against Eureka, the Tiger's Shadow. I was pretty sure it's Shadow, but I didn't just want to make up a word. I'm pretty bad about making up words sometimes. So let's go and lead off with Temple of Epiphany. Let's get that scry going, that scurry, the fever, the insanity, the descent into madness, the questioning. All right, so Sonic Assault. It's gone. I think at this point we're just going to put that on the bottom, and then anything else we're going to go and pass the turn over our opponent. So we're playing Sevinne, the Chronoclasm. Prevent all damage that would be dealt to Sevinne, and then whenever you cast your first instant or sorcery spell out of the graveyard, each turn copy that spell. You may choose new targets for the copy, and that is the first spell you cast. Last video I just recorded, I was like, all right, let's get this chain going. I was like, oh yeah, this. It's just the first spell, so that's something you do want to keep in mind. So play against Eureka, the Tiger Shadow, Commander Ninjutsu, which is just, you see that coming from a mile away every time. Whenever a ninja you control deals combat damage from a player to a player, reveal the top card of your library, put that card in your hand. Each opponent loses life equal to that card's converted mana cost. So if you haven't seen Eureka before, they tend to run a lot of high converted mana cost stuff, a lot of split cards, and that's a really pretty brutal sometimes. It's pretty rough. You can get hit pretty hard sometimes. So as far as what we would end up going for, I could try to jam a Faithless Looting real quick. Yeah, I think that'd be pretty good because we can dump some stuff into the graveyard if we need to. So let's go Faithless Looting. We're going to be trying to find some sort of mana accelerant, whether it's an artifact or something like that. So let's go for Faithless Looting. Ooh, Swords to Plowshare, maximum altitude. Yeah, I kind of like this. So since we didn't hit an artifact, we definitely want to hold on to our lands at this point. So I do like Thalia's Guy's Caller, but I think at this point, I kind of like Deep Analysis and Mystical Tutor. So let's get rid of Maximum Altitude and Thalia's Guy's Caller. That is nice, but this is going to be really slow for us to get tokens going. And what we can end up doing is going Flooded Strand. So let's go and crack Flooded Strand. And while our opponent's going Shields down, let's just go ahead and get rid of this Fairy Seer. I want to make it to where they're not going to be able to get Eureka going super quick on the battlefield. So let's grab this Tundra. Let's go Swords to Plowshares on a Fairy, and then anything else past turn to our opponent. So we did cover both commanders. Give a quick shout out to our sponsors, MTGOTraders. If you build your very own Sevinne deck where you can flash stuff back out of the graveyard, hey, head on over there. We've got a ton of stuff for you to choose from. And also, let's give a quick shout out to inkgaming.com. If you use coupon code JOLT, you can get 10% off anything off the website. So if you haven't treated yourself in a long time, make sure you treat yourself. Or if you want to check out my merch booth, go to the website, type in JOLT539 in the search bar. You can see some of the play mats and t-shirts that I've designed. And last but not least, I started a Patreon. So if you'd like to contribute to the Patreon, there's a link down in the description below. Get your name at the beginning or the ending of the credits, and you can support cool content like this. And if you can't do that, hey, no problem. Just tell somebody about the channel. I would greatly appreciate it. So now it's officially free time. Let's have some fun. So let's go for Bloodstained Mire. Yeah, and I kind of do like Think Twice. That kind of does sound pretty good. Now, do we end up going Think Twice with Mystical Tutor in tow? I think we probably want to end up holding on to Mystical Tutor. So yeah, because we want to see what sort of board state we end up getting developed. So let's just go and pass the turn to our opponent. And then what this is going to allow us to do is we can go for Think Twice next turn. So let's say that we do end up putting something on top of our library with Mystical Tutor. We can Think Twice that, and that'll set us up perfectly for going for Sevinne once we finally get him down to start getting some extra value out of the graveyard with that flashback option. So opponent's going to go for Spell Stutter Sprite. Let's do this. So let's go for that line of play. So let's go and crack Bloodstained Mire. We're going to get a, make sure we get another blue source down. Now, we actually do have some double white in here. So I think what we'll probably end up going for is we'll just end up grabbing a Plateau. So let's go for Mystical Tutor. That's going to be 1 blue mana. We're going to put something on top of our library. Let's see what we want to grab that'll kind of help us out going forward. Let's get this popped out just a little bit. Yeah, I'll be honest, I think I kind of like going for Wheel of Fortune. That really... that'll help us out a lot, give us a fresh grip. Hopefully we can hit some artifacts, hit a few token enablers. I think that sounds pretty good. So we're going to grab Wheel of Fortune. That's going to go on top of our library. Let's go for a Think Twice. and then we're going to draw into that Wheel of Fortune, and then next turn we'll be able to go for Wheel of Fortune. That does kind of cut us off a deep analysis, but I think we're still in a pretty good spot. So they're going to have the Spell Stutter Sprite enter the bet. Man, that is... This is also a Good Morning Vietnam video, so sometimes when you've got some words like that that are just T's and P's, I'm like, ugh, just kind of word vomit. So we went for that line of play, and then anything else, pass it over to our opponent. So now, as far as Sevinne, this is pretty straightforward deck. You know, this is almost not as heavy cutthroat as my Kai card deck, in that we're trying to get as many tokens on the battlefield as possible. What we're trying to do with this deck is we want to get down some token enablers and just start to cash in some sort of 2-for-1 in this stack. You know, that's pretty much what we want to do. You know, our commander's supporting a 2-for-1. We're gonna be able to copy our spells out of the graveyard, the first one we cast each turn, and it's just really cool. It's a really nice having that effect. So then when you add on something like, you know, Young Pyromancer, Monastery Mentor, Murmuring Mystic, that really helps you just build up a ton of value and try to close the game out, which is pretty cool. Now, as far as the Voltron package, you know, we can prevent all combat damage that would be dealt to Sevinne, and so, excuse me, and so a lot of the Voltron stuff we're running, we're not going super crazy. We've just got 3 swords in here. That's about it. So, all right, so we run into Island, and I think at this point, yeah, we just go Fiery, because just in case we don't hit the land drop for the turn, I think I kind of like that. So I doubt that's going to happen, but let's just, for 100% sure, make sure we hit the land drop. So let's go for Wheel of Fortune. This might end up helping our opponent out. They didn't really hit any land drops. So I'm going to go for Wheel of Fortune. Well, there we go. So we run into Mana Crypt. And unfortunately, we do run into Path to Exile. That does allow us to kind of deal with Eureka. But do we want to end up going for Mana Crypt right now? No, this is wonderful, and that's exactly what we needed to see. So let's do this. Let's just go ahead and pass the turn to our opponent, and then we'll kind of plan out what we're going to do for next turn. So we did run into Mana Crypt. We've got Ancient Tomb. That's going to be a lot of extra mana. And the only downside is Sevinne is 3 different colors, so we're going to have to tap down a lot of our different colors for that. But what we can actually end up doing with Path to Exile is whenever it deals combat damage. So once Eureka swings in next turn, if we can leave up white mana, we can actually go for Path to Exile and Eureka, and that's going to allow us to at least kind of stop that extra trigger from getting hit. So let's make sure that we're getting the reveal zone popped up. So we did get hit with Sad Robot, that did put us down to 23. So we got Eureka swinging in. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, a lot of these split cards that have these converted mana costs, those are going to be some really rough. All right, so we run into Swamp. That is... that's some good magic. And also you can see where our opponent did have Time Stretch in their hand. So if they find a way to manipulate the top part of the library, that's not a lot of fun. So anything that we ended up going for, no, I think we're gonna try to get down Sevinne this turn. So run into Maximum Velocity. Yeah, let's just go ahead and get, because technically we've got Sevinne's Reclamation. We can actually bring back Thalia's Guy's Caller out of the graveyard. Yeah, I think I kind of like doing that. So, yeah, let's do that. So let's go Mana Crypt. We're going to have Ancient Tomb enter the battlefield. So first things first, let's go for Sevinne. All right, so we're going to have Sevinne enter the battlefield. Now, we could make a copy of something out of the graveyard, but and we could also leave it Path to Exile for Eureka. But I think at this point, I kind of like going for Sevinne's Reclamation on Thalia's Guy's Caller. That's going to allow us to at least kind of have that flashback out of the graveyard, get a few extra lands on the battlefield, and at the same time allow us to kind of build up some tokens. So I think that's going to be pretty good. So let's have Sevinne. Let's go for that. Let's get Thalia's Guy's Caller onto the battlefield. And we'll get this reveal zone popped up over there. That way we're not kind of infringing on our board state area. So we're going to have Sevinne's Reclamation. With this Guy's Caller, whenever you cast a spell from your graveyard, create a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying, then sacrifice the spirit. Thalia gains indestructible until end of turn. So one of the cool things about this spell is, it's not that potent of a token enabler deck, but since we are running a lot of tokens in here, and we're trying to cast stuff out of the graveyard, it kind of does work out in that way. So anything else? No, we're going to go and pass turn to our opponent. So we're going to keep our fingers crossed that we don't get hit with a really bad Eureka trigger. But at this point, that's going to allow us to get a few extra tokens on the battlefield. If we wanted to block on our opponent, we can. Sevinne can block on Eureka. It is a 1/3. You are sitting at a 2/2. It might have some sort of target creature gets -1/-1, but if they have spot removal, they probably would have used it by now. So we'll see how this turn kind of plays out. we might end up just letting that go through, because if we end up having to recast Sevinne to get some sort of value, because next turn we've got Think Twice out of the graveyard. That's going to be 2-card draw, and hopefully that's going to allow us to build up. Ooh, Karn. Okay, so it's going to send Karn back to the hand. Yeah. And they're going to be able to take an extra turn after this one. Okay, yeah, that's fine. We're going to let that go through. If they want to actually end up trading with Thalia's Guy's Caller, I think I'd actually be okay with this particular line of play. Because all they did is basically just kind of bounces back for the turn. We can recast it, and then hopefully we can still end up with enough mana to go for Think Twice. So, and like I mentioned with Thalia's Guy's Caller, getting the tokens out of the graveyard is nice. It's not like we're going to be losing Monastery Mentor if they do decide to swing in. So I would definitely make that trade. And all right, so our opponent's going to take their extra turn, so I'm going to go and let them just kind of go through this turn, and we'll jump into commentary if they do something goofy. All right, so they will be swinging in for a 1-3. Yeah, I think we are at 19. If we get hit with something like, Time Stretch or something like that, that's not going to be that good. Now, they do have Walk the Aeons that they can go for an extra. Yeah, let's go and do that. Let's just go and block, because at this point, these 1/1 spirits that we could potentially generate with Thalia, I just don't feel like we're going to be able to do much with that. So I'm just going to send her back to the command zone. And there, oh my goodness. There's too many zones. Where's there we go. All right. So this is their exile zone. Let's get that closed down. That was the reveal. They've already gotten a swamp down for the turn and sad robots in the graveyard. So we can go and get that. Oh, time warp. Okay. All right. So they're going to take an extra turn. If this ends up being extra turn tribal style deck, then like I mentioned, I'm just going to let them go through these extra turns, and we'll go from there. So. All right, so they're gonna go for Part the Water Veil with Awaken. So once again, and let them just kind of cycle through their turns. The only downside is we are looking at 7 swinging in. So the good thing is that we at least have a it's going to be a 3-turn clock by the time they get rid of all of our life. So maybe we can make something work, but we're looking at 7 coming across. So if you're keeping score at home, things aren't looking super good right now. And also, it kind of depends on what the reveal off Eureka is going to be, because if they get a pretty good reveal, Hostage Taker, that's going to put us down to 4. And if they've got an extra turn card, they've got it. So unfortunately, yeah, if they've got an extra turn card, that's going to get it. So I was hoping that we could get a few more tokens on the battlefield, but you're going to be able to get a pretty good picture of what's happening with this particular deck. So let's see what they're tapping out for. All right, so they're going to take an extra turn, so we're going to go and scoop this one up. So, this is a perfectly fine strategy with the Rico. It does take a lot of mana to get to this point to where you just have a bunch of extra turns, but it really does work out in the Eureka. You have these 5, 6, 7, 8 spells. Once you get to that spot, you can kind of ramp a lot. Maybe we shouldn't have gone for Wheel of Fortune to really kind of refuel their hand on this stuff, but like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, we don't know what sort of Eureka deck this is. A lot of the Eureka decks we play against are the split cards where they have a high converted mana cost. So just kind of refueling their hand for artifacts and a few extra lands really pushed them towards these extra turns. But at the same time, it still kind of broke us open as far as being able to get an extra board state going on our side. So unfortunately, opponent's going to get it on this one. They got a few extra turns with the Eureka, but hey, they closed it out. So shout out to our opponent. Good game. And if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.